I'm estranged from both of my old religions, whatever. But I love the experience of growing up in them, the experience of being there in them. And so the idea of my children having the experience that I had in the LDS church just is still a sweet idea to me.
This is rich. For someone who's all about his own image, Kodys' teeth are shockingly yellow. Like, really? He could at least put some effort into brushing if he's going to keep talking about how perfect he is. And can we talk about his obsession with this whole 1,000-yard stare thing? He says it like he's some war veteran, having survived the trenches of plural marriage. Spoiler alert, Kodys out here acting like he's been through Vietnam, but the only helicopters in his head are replaced by FLDS hymns. Seriously, every time he thinks about any of his marriages, except Robyns, of course, it's like he's reliving the worst flashbacks known to man. What's especially grating is how he keeps repeating it, like somehow it makes him seem like a victim. Newsflash, it doesn't. It makes him look like a predator. The dude married a woman he didn't even care about, and now he's claiming he was repulsed by her. Cool story, bro. Does he really think anyone's buying that? You had a whole spiritual and moral responsibility to think through your decisions before committing to a lifetime. You know, for time and all eternity in your church. But sure, continue with the victim act while ignoring the fact that you're the one making these poor decisions. For the record, I'm not accusing him of anything, just calling it like it is. Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to ThreadoraTalks, where the conversations are always next level. I'm your host, Jenna, and today we're turning things up a notch. Trust me, this is one video you do not want to miss, so let's dive right in. Kodys' latest episode was full of interesting moments, but there was one that really stood out when he talked about visiting the girls and then shared what sounded like an incredibly personal conversation. I really hope he actually asked Aspyn before spilling those details on TV because, yikes. And then, of course, Robyn couldn't resist jumping in, immediately trying to twist the narrative by calling it a confrontation. Oh, Robyn, always adding to the list of reasons I'm not a fan of hers. But let's dive into the real question. Kody casually mentions seeing some of his boys from another wife, but never names names. Is he talking about Garrison and Gabe? Is he trying to rewrite history here to make it sound like they were all good when, let's be real, they were estranged at the time of Garrison's death? I have my doubts about this supposed reunion. It's obvious to anyone watching that Kody runs straight back to Robyn after any interaction with his kids, so she can spin it however she sees fit. She manipulates the situation to make herself the center of it all. It's so transparent at this point, and the dynamic between her and Kody is just plain unsettling. After Robyn spent all that time urging Kody to fix his relationships with his kids, you'd think she'd be thrilled when he finally talks about spending time with them. But no, she's practically sulking, probably because she wasn't the one doing the talking. Robyn jumps right in to call Kodys' talk with Aspyn a confrontation, and that tells you everything you need to know. She wanted to control the narrative, painting the OG kids in a negative light while elevating her own children. It's all part of her strategy to distance Kody from the others. And let's talk about her laughable claim that the OG3 are unsafe and can't spend the holidays with the family. Really? A conversation with their dad about why he abandoned them is unsafe? It's only unsafe because Robyn knows full well that the OG kids aren't buying her act. They can see right through her, and that's the real problem. She can't stand the idea that they might have a real connection with Kody, so she works overtime to drive a wedge between them. What really struck me, though, was how this conversation highlighted the Kody-Robyn dynamic. After Robyn had that whole scene where she was begging Kody to work on his relationships with the kids, you'd think she'd be ecstatic about any step forward. But instead, she just looked annoyed and distant, almost like she was angry that Kody wasn't playing her game. The quick switch from conversation to confrontation was a clear signal. She wanted to make sure that her version of events was the one that stuck. I don't think Kody even considered how Aspyn might feel before blabbing about that conversation. Things probably didn't go exactly how Robyn wanted, and she was quick to spin it into something darker. Honestly, every time Robyn twists things to make the OG kids look bad, it just makes me want to scream at the TV. She's always framing any interaction between them and Kody as threatening or confrontational. But the truth is, it's only unsafe for her because she knows the OG kids don't buy her act. And at least for once, Kody didn't completely agree with her about the conversation with Aspyn. And that was honestly a relief. In the Sister Wives season finale, Kody, Robbyn, and Meri are having a lovely little chat about the future of the Coyote Pass property. Naturally, Meri, with her signature sarcasm, asks who will inherit Christine's portion. And Kody, as always, claims it for himself. Because why not? He's the king of his own kingdom. Meri's annoyance is palpable, but she's learned to pick her battles. Then, Robbyn chimes in, trying to make a joke about how, if she and Kody ever split, she'll need her own piece of the property to provide for her 5 kids. Because, of course, they need more stuff. She quickly adds that Kody's portion would go to his other kids, and you can see Kody's face twist into a serious, "Are you serious? Look." And just before he can drop whatever bombshell was about to come out of his mouth, Robbyn, knowing exactly what he was about to say, shuts him down. It's almost like she had a feeling he was going to admit that, maybe his will won't be too generous to the OG 13 kids. Wouldn't want them catching wind of that, right? So, here's the big question. When Kody kicks the bucket, will Meri, Christine, and Janelle's kids get anything? Or will Robbyn's 5 kids inherit it all? Sure, Coyote Pass isn't the only thing on the table. Let's not forget Kody's $1 million D-list paintings and whatever other assets he's accumulated over the years. But does anyone think the older kids are getting a slice of the pie? My guess. Not unless it's some sort of miraculous inheritance from a lottery he didn't play. Now, let's be real here. Do we think Kody actually has a will? Because making one would involve planning, forethought, and probably hiring a lawyer. Things Kody doesn't exactly excel at. Without a will, all his stuff would probably go to Robbyn, which, let's be honest, seems like exactly what Kody wants. And maybe that's why Robbyn cut him off before he could speak any further. She knew he was about to admit that he probably has zero intention of leaving anything to anyone else. As for the land, I've always had this sneaky suspicion that Kody and Robbyn were scheming to divide it up into 5 parts for her 5 kids. No solid proof, just a gut feeling. But it does add up, right? In the end, I think Kody and Robbyn are going to die broke. They haven't saved a dime for retirement, and with all the equity in their house already spoken for, their future doesn't look too rosy. So, whether they leave anything to the kids or not is almost beside the point. There won't be anything to leave. Okay, so am I the only one here who was born around 1978 to 1980-ish and has developed a bit of a complex over how old, or not old, I look now thanks to all the comments about Robbyn over the past few years? No? Just me? All right then, I'll just carry on. But seriously, I think Robbyn's biggest issue isn't just aging, it's her wardrobe. She's dressing in a way that's aging her even more. Plus, the stress from Kody isn't helping. Honestly, she looks about her age to me. But let's be real, I think she'd look a lot better if she walked away from all that drama. Just like the other ladies. It's really her makeup, hair, and the shape of her clothes. Every time you see her, she looks like she's just not comfortable in her own skin. Kody and Robbyn's dynamic is essentially a textbook case of using family to fill the voids in their personal shortcomings. Kody, for example, is obsessed with being the leader of the family. But let's be real. If he had to lead in the real world, he'd fail miserably. Leadership isn't about calling the shots and pretending to be in charge. It's about earning respect through actual, competent decisions that make people want to follow you. But instead of doing that, Kody just props himself up with his family, expecting them to follow his every whim. Then there's Robbyn, who seems to approach friendships the way a cat approaches a laser pointer, distracted, selfish, and only when it's convenient. Her egocentrism and constant victimization make her a nightmare to be around. She doesn't know how to put anyone else first, let alone maintain a relationship where she offers genuine friendship or loyalty. Honestly, I've always suspected that Robbyn's real motive for wanting sister wives was less about expanding her family and more about securing guaranteed friendships, ones she couldn't form in the real world due to her narcissism. And let's not forget how Kody always harps on the OG3 for not being good enough sister wives to Robyn. Newsflash, Kody. It's not them, it's her. Robyn doesn't fit in because, well, she's Robyn. Self-centered and emotionally unavailable. The OG3 didn't do anything wrong. They just didn't fall for her one-woman show routine. I've seen this type before. Hell, I was in a sorority in college, and there were plenty of Robyns floating around, trying to wedge themselves into any group for that sense of built-in support and validation. And then there's Kody's self-proclaimed alpha male status. The guy genuinely believes he's the alpha, which is laughable, considering he can't even lead his own family effectively. Sure, Kody, keep telling yourself that. You're the leader. Of what exactly? A bunch of people who are too tired and fed up to even pretend to follow your lead anymore? Hilarious. Would Meri and Kody have lasted? Honestly, it's hard to say. But let's entertain the thought for a moment. What if Kody hadn't decided to go all in on the more wives, more fun strategy? My gut says they probably wouldn't have made it, mainly because Kody seemed more interested in boosting his ego than in actually maintaining a solid relationship with Meri. And I'm not sure their wildly different personalities were going to mesh well in the long run, no matter how many wives he had. Honestly, I think he was always going to want more kids, regardless of who was in his bed. But here's my hot take. Call me a rebel if you will, but I actually think they could have made it. Why? Because, at the core, they were young, in love, and devout to a religion that really stresses staying married. The whole plural marriage thing definitely threw a wrench in their relationship, but it also shaped who they became as people. Plural marriage has a way of reinforcing negative traits, and if they'd stayed monogamous, maybe they'd have navigated their issues more like a normal couple. Could have worked through the regular marital stresses. Could have. But hey, life's complicated. On the flip side, I'm also going to agree with those who say no. Kody himself said that Meri changed after they married. And let's face it, she went from being this shy, sweet person to someone, well, different. And let's not forget, Kody's charm isn't exactly irresistible. Having other women around to keep him occupied kind of helped to dilute the whole idea of a strong marriage, don't you think? When Kody married his first 3 wives, it was all about making sure he'd get a VIP pass to the kingdom of heaven. But seriously, how many women were left in Kody's dating pool? How many women were lining up to share a boyfriend, especially in a community where polygamy is a given? The pickings were slim. So, Meri, she was decent looking, close in age, and raised in polygamy, so Kody went for it. Love at first sight? Ha, let's be real. He loved her, sure, but was he ever in love with her? Nope. He's in love with Robyn, though. And that's fine. I can't even hate on him for that. But what I can hate is the fact that he strung his other wives along. He knew exactly what he was doing, keeping them around for the financial benefits. And honestly, that's the part I can't get behind. I'm not upset that he fell for Robyn. It's the way he treated his other wives and kids that really makes him come off as a complete jerk. Robyn. Watching the talkbacks is like torture. Every time they show her and Kody, she's over there playing the "I'm so clueless, Kody never tells me anything" card, like she's the queen of ignorance. Seriously, how many times can someone pretend to be that out of the loop? It's like she's auditioning for a role in a soap opera where she learns something for the first time every other scene. I'm about to lose it. I'll probably do another rewatch and post some specifics later, but I just had to vent. Oh! And Janelle totally nailed it in season 17. She spilled the tea that Kody would always fill her in on every little thing Robyn had an issue with Christine. So, why is Robyn so confused about why Christine left? It's beyond me. And don't even get me started on her "did that really happen" routine. Every single time. It's like she's always staring at a script and trying to act surprised. No one's buying it, Robyn. You've been in everyone's business for years, and somehow you have no clue about anything that's going on? Please. I have to fast forward through her scenes on the rewatch, especially the last few seasons. It's like a personal mission at this point. And can we just talk about how Janelle confirmed Kody is like a walking gossip column? Seriously, he's probably on the phone with Robyn as soon as he closes the car door, spilling all the tea from his conversations with the other wives. You just know he's rushing back to her, eager for her smothering embrace. But only after he's made sure to tell her every last detail. Then there's that whole Mary, he signed up to like everybody's turkey joke. Robyn looks at Kody like, what's that supposed to mean? And Kody, of course, plays the I don't know card. Robyn is literally the most confused expert on everything. From day one, she's been acting like she's the authority on polygamy, blending families, marriage, divorce, you name it. But now, she's acting like she can't even keep track of what's happening in her own life. Classic Robyn. So, let's talk about what we know and what we don't know when it comes to the Browns. After watching the whole show from the very beginning, I'd say the ratio between the Browns didn't talk about this on the show and TLC cut/edited stuff is probably 80-20 pre-COVID. And post-COVID, it's more like 20-80. I mean, seriously, only now are we hearing about things that happened forever ago, like Robyn doing a little touch-up on her makeup during that camping trip, while everyone else did the actual hard work. Or how Robyn played the role of besties with Mary, only to ghost her for months. Nice! I'm dying to know what kind of material TLC has hidden away from earlier seasons. Did they just decide to only show the happy plural family angle? Or did the Browns themselves refuse to talk about the problems on camera? And let's be real, Christine leaving Kody really opened the floodgates for the other OG wives to start speaking up on camera too. Or wait, maybe they said all that stuff, and TLC just decided it wasn't worth airing? Who knows? I recently rewatched that camping episode with the whole makeup thing, and it was pretty much spot on compared to what Janelle described. Of course, Robyn was busy making excuses for herself. Big surprise there. But what really stood out was how hard it was for some of the kids to accept Robyn. That was some real drama, tucked away in the background. After Christine kicked Kody to the curb in season 17, I thought, okay, time for a deep dive. I rewatched season 1, and honestly, Christine was pretty upfront about her issues with Kody from the start. Mary was dropping hints in the Vegas rental that she knew Kody was basically living at Robyn's house. It was like the worst-kept secret, and Christine? She wasn't exactly pretending everything was fine. The real taboo subject, though? Their finances, how they made money, how much they made, and, how they spent it. We all saw the properties, Kody and Robyn's. Questionable art collection, cars, jewelry, and toys, ATVs and sports cars, anyone? Now, I think they're just more vocal because they've escaped the Kody tornado. I mean, why not talk trash about the guy now that they don't have to live with him? But in the early days? They were definitely hiding stuff. There was this weird underlying vibe of don't upset Kody and don't say anything bad about Robyn. At least, that's the impression I always got once she showed up. There was this moment, I'm pretty sure it was Christine, during one of those behind-the-scenes commentaries when she casually dropped a remark about Robyn, and Mary just agreed. Robyn, sitting there with Kody, looked completely caught off guard like, wait, they're talking about me? And then she shot Kody this look like, aren't you going to do something about this? It was a look that screamed, help! I'm being hung out to dry. And every time I rewatch that scene, I think, aha, this family wasn't all rainbows and butterflies, even back then. Honestly, wouldn't it be amazing if the OG3 just decided to quit the show? Sure, I get that it's all tied up in contracts, but can you imagine how glorious it would be if they walked away? Kody and Robyn would be financially wrecked, and frankly, that's exactly what they deserve. I mean, sure, the other kids would still benefit, but the OGs are all young adults at this point. And let's be real, Kody isn't exactly sending them child support. Meanwhile, the three wives aren't exactly scraping by. They've got their side hustles and businesses to fall back on. But Kody and Robyn? Not so much. Without TLC, they'd be up a creek. We could still keep up with the drama through social media or whatever other ways are out there, without the whole TLC mess. Honestly, I'd be more than happy if Kody and Robyn just left. They're giving us nothing at this point. All right, now I want to hear from you. Sound off in the comments and let me know where you stand. Agree, disagree, or something in between? And if you're enjoying the vibe, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you're always in the loop. Your voice counts, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for hanging with me.